When the man was selling guns, he suddenly found that the speed of the buyer assembling the gun was faster than that of the killer himself. If he deliberately adjusted the aiming scope, the buyer could still accurately hit the target. The detail made him instantly aware that the other party was definitely a professional killer. However, unexpectedly, the buyer randomly placed the sniper rifle and tried to shoot the sniper rifle next to him. To test the effect of the silencer, the buyer could take the opportunity to solve this potential threat with a gun, changed his mind, and came up with a more ingenious countermeasure. After the weapon test, the buyer was very satisfied with the weapon in his hand. He had a sum of money on the spot, but Mike did not hand over the gun. It was an excuse to say that the gun needed to be improved and let the buyer wait for 3 more days. The buyer was not doubtful and was satisfied. On the way home, Mike noticed that he was being followed. The road on the ground was paved with stone, and they were all up and down steps. The slight movement made Mike notice that he was taking off his leather shoes at the corner and accidentally pulled out the pistol from the back of the killer. The killer turned around behind the killer, but the killer was still there. Just as Mike was about to pull the trigger, a motorcycle passed by and broke the trigger. The killer was shocked and shot, realized that he was in a hurry, and decided to give up the task in a hurry. While Mike was riding on the motorcycle, he knew that he could not get rid of the grass, so he shot while driving. In the end, he hit the tire of the car, and the car was out of control and hit the roadside. Mike hit the window of the car and strangled the killer until he lost his breath. After that, Mike was confused and did not understand why his whereabouts would be exposed. Because not long ago, when he was dating his girlfriend, he also predicted that he saw footprints on the snowy ground. He immediately judged that he was in an ambush. He quickly pulled his girlfriend to hide behind the... As expected, the bullet hit and stopped. His girlfriend was a little confused and did not know why she was being chased. Mike deliberately exposed the location to attract the attention of the enemy. Then he turned and quickly away from the enemy. He lied to his girl was dangerous and asked her to leave first. When his girlfriend turned around and left, Mike raised his gun. In order to ensure his safety, the boss arranged for Mike to go to a remote town in Italy for a while and gave him a car. Mike drove the car provided by the boss and traveled thousands of kilometers to reach the town. As soon as he got off, quickly avoided the site. Mike left without hesitation. Without a trace of hesitation, he also threw away the phone the boss gave him, went to a hidden place outside the town to settle down. Here, he strictly adhered to the principle of the killer. In addition to exercising, he rarely went out to sleep. He only went to the restaurant for dinner. After a long time, he felt lonely. Mike could not help it. He used a public phone to contact the boss and took the initiative to ask him a favor. The boss immediately arranged for him a relatively easy task, which is to make a gun for the employer. This is the scene where the gun is collected at the beginning. During the execution of the task, he also met a new girl. During a date, Mike accidentally found a small pistol in his handbag. Very nervous. He suspected that his girlfriend was spotted around him. The next day, Mike asked his girlfriend out for fun. In fact, he was going to find a deserted place to solve the problem. His girlfriend was confused about this. Facing the beautiful scenery in front of her, she was in a good mood. Slowly walked into the river to take a break. Mike stared at his girlfriend. When he saw her hand in his handbag, he immediately prepared to shoot. However, what his girlfriend took out was a sunscreen. He just asked Mike to apply it for her. Mike only realized that he had misunderstood his girlfriend. It turned out that he had lost his sanity recently. His girlfriend carried a gun just to protect herself. 3 days later, Mike went to the delivery place in a hurry. He thought everything would go well. However, the buyer proposed to go to the bathroom to check the goods. This request made Mike nervous for a moment. Fortunately, the buyer did not find any abnormality. Mike looked at the money in his handbag and relaxed. He thought he was thinking too much. "Goodbye, Mr. Benjamin." But he didn't know that the reason why the woman didn't do anything was to paralyze him and relax his vigilance. When Mike turned around and left, the woman quietly followed him and found the perfect sniping spot. She aimed at him with a sniper rifle made by Mike. But at this moment, Mike's girlfriend suddenly appeared with a sudden change. For a female killer, it was a perfect opportunity. He didn't even think about it until he died. Mike moved his hands and feet on the gun in advance. After hearing the gunshot, Mike asked his girlfriend to wait by the river. He ran towards the gunshot. He had already noticed that the female client was not right, so he made preparations in advance. He looked at the female killer in front of him. Mike forced him to ask who instigated him. Until then, Mike learned that his biggest enemy was the boss he had been following for many years. It turned out that ever since Mike revealed his retirement, the boss regarded him as a threat and wanted to get rid of him many times. Because for the boss, after all, only the dead are the most reliable, Mike realized that he shouldn't stay here for long. He turned around and was about to, but he noticed that someone was following him. He turned around without hesitation and shot, and the person who was hit was his boss. Seeing the boss fall to the ground, Mike didn't have time to think much. He got off the car and went to the river to find his girlfriend. On the way, his abdomen was shaking. Mike just found out that he was shot. Fortunately, he was not seriously injured. Finally, he endured the pain and finally arrived at the river. When he saw his girlfriend safe and sound, he couldn't hold on anymore. He fell on the steering wheel and lost consciousness. "Doctor,